Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live YouTube tapping around change and moving through change and not being terrified and moving through change with a sense of gratitude and joy and really just not freaking ourselves out about it, not playing a mental game where we feel like we are being tortured all the time. And the reason that we're doing this tapping right now is I don't know what's in the air, but put your hand up if things feel wild and wacky and out of control. And they certainly do for me. They feel like I'm just riding this Technicolor wave on a surfboard with like holes in it, or maybe it's a hoverboard through the cosmos. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that it is a very unusual time. And the things that used to feel interesting to me suddenly feel boring. The things that used to be completely off the table are suddenly on the table and feeling quite appealing. And it is really wild. And when I asked my audience on Instagram whether they were feeling this sense of transition and change as well, 97% of people said yes, which is a huge number. That's huge. It was over 1,000 people said yes, they were going through a wild time of transition. And I thought, well, you know what really works for dealing with change and dealing with things being uncomfortable? Tapping. My old friend tapping, which I have been using this tool for 17 years, since I was 22 years old. And it changed my life back when I discovered it in New Zealand. And it continues to change my life every time I use it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do some work around really moderating our nervous system so that we can feel okay about the changes that are coming down the pipe. Because let's be real, life is always changing. Things are always shifting. There is no constant in life. And the sooner that we can learn to surf, the better off we're going to be. And it's really interesting because today I got a new planner for the new year in the mail, which was very exciting. I was like watching the tracking on the UPS all day. I was really on the edge of my seat about this. But when it arrived, it came in a box, and in the box was a postcard from the company that had sent it to me. And the postcard said, all it said on it, nothing else, was just be fearful of mediocrity. And I thought, what a beautiful and perfect message. And the reason that it's beautiful and perfect is that without change, we dwell in a space of mediocrity. Without learning to shift and do things differently, we are doomed to be mediocre. When you are willing to change and risk things and try new stuff, that's where we blossom. That is where we explode into a cacophony of color and magic. But when we just keep doing the same old thing, when we resist change, when we say, no, thank you, it's fine as it is, that is when we get stuck, we get small, we get locked into a loop and an old routine and an old pattern, and it really does not serve us. So we're going to do some tapping today, and I'm really excited that you're here with me. And for those of you who have never tapped before, and I'm aware that this is going to be a recording and people are going to watch it and they're going to be like, I've never done this. I've never even heard of this. What do I do? I'm going to give you a really brief introduction just so you understand it. Tapping is a somatic modality. So you may have heard people talking about how trauma doesn't live in the brain, which is what we used to think. We used to think trauma lived in the brain, and in order to deal with trauma in the brain, we needed to take pills or go to talk therapy. And these days, it's more commonly accepted that trauma lives in your body. And so in order to release that trauma from your body, in order to move through it in a new way, we need to use our bodies. We can't just, pretend that we only exist from the neck up. It is a full body practice. And tapping is a beautiful somatic practice that helps you move through really hard things. and it was developed to help veterans with PTSD. And it was so successful that the founders decided they should just start using on everything. And the research is incredible. If you do some Googling on it, you will find that the numbers and the science on tapping are undeniably good. They are so, so effective. And I love it because it's easy to do, it's quick, and it's free. I mean, to me, that is like the holy trifecta: easy, quick, and free. Like, if it's got those three things, I'm down. So tapping is where you're using your hands to stimulate various meridian points within the body. And they're the same meridian points that are used in Chinese acupuncture and acupressure. This is thousands of years old knowledge that we're utilizing and building on. And as you're tapping on these points, you're talking about what is challenging you, what you're resisting, what your fears are. And you're also guiding yourself towards how you want to feel, what you want to release, what you could look and feel and be like on the other side of this thing, this obstruction that stands in your way. So right now, we're talking about change and a fear of change and being uncertain and not knowing what's next. So we want to think about, well, how do I want to feel about this sense of change? Do I want to feel like confident and capable and like I can really move through this with grace? Do I want to feel excited about the change? Do I want to feel like this is the start of the rest of my life? It's a new reset. It's a full reboot of my life. Do I want to feel gratitude for what this is teaching me? And maybe even gratitude for my own competency and ability to deal with this strange new thing. So you probably all have a different answer as to how you want to feel about this, but I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of all of that so we can all have our needs met as we do this tapping together. So here are the tapping points. I will just show you really briefly, and then we'll do it. And you'll find that this is so simple, and it's just the easiest, best, greatest thing. I love it. It makes me feel good every single time I do it. And I can't say that about everything. I don't know about you. Except maybe eating chocolate cake. I don't know. Hard to say. So the tapping points are as follows. When we start tapping, we're going to start here on the side of the hand. And you're going to use whatever hand feels best to you, just to tap on one hand. I like to use my right hand to tap. It's my dominant hand. It feels comfortable to me. But if this is more your vibe, then that's okay too. So we start by tapping here, just rhythmically. No particular pace or speed is required. It's not about being forceful. You can just gently do this. That's the first point. And as we're tapping on this point, we're going to talk through what we're wanting to work on. Now, then when we're done with that, when we feel set up, we're going to start on the other points. And they are as follows. The top of the head, the start of the eyebrow, the temples, under the eye, under the nose, under the mouth, collarbones, under the armpit where your bra strap would come around if you were wearing one, and finally your two wrists together. And we're going to repeat that pattern a few times. And this is like call and repeat. I'm going to say a sentence to you and you are going to repeat it back as you tap with me. And I promise this is really simple and really beautiful. So if you've got your water on hand, I'd love for you to take a nice juicy guzzle of that, because this is energetic work. And when we're doing energetic work, somatic work, we want to be well hydrated. And we also want to drink lots of water when we're done so that we're really able to flush what's going on in our body, just like getting a massage. So if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's start by tapping here on the side of the hand. And you're just going to repeat after me. I'm in a huge period of transition. And I don't know what it looks like on the other side. And that's kind of terrifying. Because I feel like usually I have a good grip on my life. Maybe even I'm a recovering control freak. And so all this change, happening so quickly has really thrown me for a loop. Things that used to be interesting now feel boring. And things that used to be off the table are now right in the center of the table. And I don't know what to make of it. And maybe this sense of change is affecting my whole life. Or maybe it's just in one area, like my work or finances, like my relationships, like my health, or a myriad of other things. But either way, I know I'm not dealing with this as gracefully as I could be. I admit that I am struggling. I admit that every day I wake up and I say, what the fuck? I admit that my flexibility could be worked on. And after all, that's why I'm here right now. So I can learn to navigate this shift with grace and ease, and maybe even a little bit of excitement, because that's always fun to sprinkle in. So even though I have this sense of deep unknowingness, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And I'm willing to see this situation differently. I'm willing to be open to the universe. And I'm willing to grow. Okay, take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, let it go. I'd love to know how you're feeling in the chat. And take another sip of water, and then we will get into the full-blown tapping round. But I hope that that really kind of got some stuff shaken up. Lucy says she's yawning. So often when we're tapping or doing somatic work, the way that we can feel that it's really working is from physical sensations like yawning, sneezing, eyes tearing up, skin feeling itchy or tingly. Yawning is a huge one. It often, these physical sensations are kind of just like the first sign that we're starting to like tip over that boulder. It's just starting to move. It's starting to rock. And if you're not getting any of those physical sensations, that's completely okay. But I often have people say, oh, I feel sick to my stomach, or I can't stop yawning. And that is always a sign that it's working perfectly, that you are in the right space, that we are hitting something real, and it's only going to get better from here. So let's now start on the top of the head, and we're going to work through some of this. Okay, here we go. Just repeat after me. I really want to navigate this change with grace and ease, like it's no big thing, like it's a walk in the park. But for whatever reason, that seems to be eluding me right now. I am definitely not feeling graceful. And it is definitely not feeling easy. I feel more like a camel on roller skates, when really I want to feel like a dolphin in pink water. And maybe I have a lot of fear and doubt. about what all this change means for me. Maybe I'm afraid that my life will never be the same. Or maybe I'm afraid that I'm somehow going backwards. Maybe I'm worried that if I make this change, I won't recognize myself. Or maybe the people I love won't recognize me. And that kind of feels like death. There are so many reasons for me to hold on tightly, to resist all this change, to desperately try to keep it the same. But I know, even as I'm saying that is not my path. Sameness is not my future. Mediocrity is not my modus operandi. I can feel in my bones that I am destined for so much more. That I am here to be a firecracker. That I am here to be incendiary. That I am here to light up the whole sky. And how can I do that when I'm obsessed with the past? How can I do that when I'm glued to my couch? How can I do that when I'm afraid of what the sunrise will bring? This is the time for courage. It is a time for guts and guile, as Elizabeth Taylor once said. And I know that as I draw myself up to my full height, as I sit up a little straighter in my chair, as I really think about what I want my life to look like, I know that accepting these changes is the only way forward. After all, that is what all my role models would do. They would charge into the dawn, not knowing what's on the other side, but with a heart full of optimism. So even though I have been terrified of these changes, even though I've felt uncertain and off kilter, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And what if I could melt into these changes gently? Like a big, gooey marshmallow. What if I could just seep into this next chapter? Softly and gently. What if all my ideas about change are kind of bullshit? And what if it doesn't have to be hard and stressful? What if it can just be soft and fluffy? What if it could fill me with wonder every day? What if it could make me feel awed with gratitude? What if it could make me look at myself in the mirror and say to my own reflection, you are so fucking lucky because you get to do whatever you want. So even though I haven't always felt graceful, even though sometimes I've really wanted things to stay the same, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And I'm open to the future being really sexy. I'm open to these changes being the start of the rest of my beautiful life. I'm open to experiencing something new. And I'm open to it getting better every day. I'm willing to feel good as I change. And I'm willing to be grateful for the chance to change. Because so many people cannot. I'm ready for my beautiful future. And I trust the universe implicitly because I know it has my back. And so it is. Okay, take another big, deep breath. Hold it at the top and let it go. I'd love to hear how that's feeling for you. I feel magnificent. I've been doing a lot of my own work on navigating changes and everything like that. And this really felt like it just pulled it all home and just reminded me of the massive power of change, the beauty of change, the magic of making a shift. Because really, when I think about it, all of the great things in my life have happened after I make a shift. Right? After I make a hard decision, after I divorce my husband, after I leave New York, after I move across the world to a new place by myself, it's always when I make those shifts and those changes that my life just opens up like a beautiful, those pop-up birthday cards, like a crazy pop-up birthday card. And we can't experience all of that wonder, that awe, that magic, that electricity when we're staying in one spot, when we're sitting on the couch, when we're refreshing Instagram and we're just hoping for something to take our interest. Like, we have to race towards the sunrise and capture it and decide what we're going to do with it. So I really hope that felt good. I'm loving seeing these comments. That's so beautiful. I'm really, really pleased. And for those of you who are interested in learning more about tapping and getting more familiar with the modality and how to use it for yourself or for your clients, we just opened Gala Darling Method for our spring 2024 cohort, which is so exciting. I think it's like our 5th class now, which is amazing. We've taken so many students through this. And so many of them join us because they want to deepen their own tapping practice. They want to learn how to get in touch with their own intuition and use it to heal themselves. And we give them that and then some. But almost all of them say at the end that they are so inspired by this that they now want to use it with clients. They want to start a business. They really want to do this for everybody, which is so beautiful and so special. And we're very proud of our graduates. They are amazing, and I like to highlight them as much as I can. And they're all really different. We have women who've studied hypnotherapy and Reiki and all these other things. And then we have nutritionists who use it with their clients because, she says that often people will come in and they're wanting to change their eating style or eating habits, but they are really resistant to changing the routine and tapping. Like, in one session, she can have someone experience this huge shift so they can then actually implement the things that she's telling them to do. So tapping works beautifully side by side with your other modalities or techniques that you have. To me, it is the most effective tool for rewiring your brain that I've ever come across. And I have been studying all of this stuff for, almost 20 years. And I've tried pretty much everything. And this is just hands down the most effective, direct, fast way of changing things. So it's really beautiful to tie it into what you already have. Laura says, yes, I'm already thinking about how I'm going to do Reiki, tapping, crystal healing, and aromatherapy together. Yeah. And Hillary said, combining tarot and tapping is a game changer. Yeah, fantastic. They just work so beautifully together. And tapping is not a dogmatic thing where you have to renounce everything you've ever known. It's like the more knowledge you have about personal psychology and self-growth and development, the better this is going to be for you. And then somebody said, what about the guys? We've had 2 amazing men go through our program so far, Lucas and Danny. We love them. We love them so much. Guys are always welcome. It doesn't matter your gender or your sexuality or anything like that. We truly don't care. The reason I started Gala Darling Method was because I truly believe in the power of tapping to heal communities and heal groups. And I can only do so much on my own. And I'm not everybody's flavor. Some people want a more grounded, calming energy. Some people want someone even more flamboyant than me. And so I need as many people as possible to know how to do this so that we can help people all around the world. And we have people in Australia and Mexico and Germany and France and everywhere pretty much that you can think of. So we're really an international group. There's no limitations on who can join. And we have so many people who learn this technique so they can bring tapping to their country, to their language, to their community. And, you may not have really any background in personal development or self-help, but maybe you've wanted to start a women's group and you really want to help, single mothers or people finding jobs or whatever. Tapping is so good for all of these things, for helping people overcome their blocks, for helping them feel more confident, for helping them take action on the things they've been procrastinating on or resisting. It really is such a beautiful technique. So I'm truly enthusiastic about it. I love it. I use it all the time. And I really, chalk up my life and the way that it's grown and the trajectory of my business and my life generally to tapping, because when I started my business as a fashion blogger back in 2006, I was using tapping every single day to reprogram myself from these negative beliefs that I had, which were beliefs that everybody has when they start a business, right? Which was like, I'm never going to make any money doing this. I don't know how to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I was really able to shift my perception around all of those things and release those limitations, which I really, truly believe led to the stratospheric growth of my business so quickly and at such an early stage. Question. Okay. We've got some great questions. Sacred Earth Guardians says, is there Q&A as part of live classes? Yes. In every live class, I take questions and I answer them. And it's a beautiful part of the classes. It's one of the really valuable parts about being in the class live, because often what we end up talking about becomes a broader conversation around healing or spirituality or working with clients or building business. And even if you didn't ask the question, someone will ask a question that just opens you up in this beautiful way. So that's amazing. And you also will get to know the other people in your class from that, which is beautiful. And our community is very strong and supportive and not competitive. It's really lovely. Do you have any smaller group pods or accountability partners? We really encourage you to do that yourselves. We have a circle group that you'll be added to once you join, where you can ask any questions you want. And after our GDM lessons, the GDM Plus grads host these, like, I think they call it GDM happy hour, where they all just jump on Zoom and they talk to each other and they practice with each other. And it's really beautiful. It's such a beautiful community to be part of. Like, it's very special. Laura said, are the two cohorts doing the same classes together and just graduation is separate, or different schedules entirely? They are the same classes together. The only difference with doing virtual is you will not get a printed manual, which is very sexy. I had one close by, but it's disappeared. But you won't get the printed manual. You will get a PDF of the manual, which you can print out on your own. Go to Kinko. Does Kinko still exist? Wherever. You can print it out. And you also will not be coming to our live graduation. So this year, the cohort starts on February 19th. And if you join us for the full version, our graduation is in New York City on May 17th. And there's a really, like, a huge price difference between these two. So if you join us for the full thing with graduation and all of that, it's 6,222. But if you join us for the virtual, it's 20. Wait, that's not right. I said 2,100, but that's not the price. It's 3,000 something. And those are your choices. And, you know, we have never done the virtual option before. This is a new thing for us. And we decided to do that because we know that things can be really tight for people. And also some people are just like, I don't have a passport. There's no way I'm coming to New York, or they can't afford to do that or whatever. So we thought that the virtual option would be good. And it's been selling like hotcakes. So it seems to be the right thing to do. 3,500. There you go. And the hotel is included with New York City. Yes, you just have to get your flight. You have to get your flight. And other than that, you're good to go. So it's amazing. And our graduations are super fun. They're so good. And it's a really beautiful opportunity to meet the community in person and get dressed up and take photos and ask me tons of questions, whatever you want to ask me. I'm at your disposal. Can you talk more about how you shifted your business with tapping? How long did it take, and how often per day did you tap? I was tapping about 5 times a day on every limiting belief that came up. I would have a notebook next to me on my desk, and every limiting belief that came up, I would just write it down. And then at some point during the day, like my lunch break or the end of the day, I would systematically work through and tap through all these things. And that's one of the bonuses really of learning the modality really well, is you can tap on your own stuff. So I have High Vibe Honey, obviously, where we tap together as a collective every Sunday. I choose the topics and we just get into something. But there is a huge difference between creating a tapping session that is specifically tailored to your memories, your fears, your very specific past, and tapping in a group as a collective. Tapping in a group as a collective is immensely powerful, but it's like 2% of what's possible when you really know how to use this tool for yourself. And that's one of the most beautiful and powerful parts of Gala Darling Method. And, it really transforms people's lives. And we have so many students who join us in the beginning who are they might be quiet or kind of shy, or they're unsure of themselves. By the time we get to the end, they are literally unrecognizable. The transformation is so huge. And I think a lot of that is because you're really learning to dig into your own stuff, and you're learning that it's actually not that scary to do it. And once you've done it a few times, you realize that there's really nothing holding you back. And that's a very powerful moment for people. And I really wish that everybody could have that moment of transformation. It's chef's kiss. I love that. Audrey, who is my director of operations, said it's so amazing to watch the transformation people go through. It really is. Like, it is stunning, staggering, and beautiful. So yeah, look, Caitlin said, Gala Darling Method gave me the courage to start my YouTube channel. I love that. And so many of our students have gone on to do the most amazing things. You know, one of our students in our latest class said he's so busy with long-term clients that he's not even doing one-off sessions with people anymore, because he's just so booked out. And we were talking about, how to manage burnout and what to do when you're just working your butt off. So, this is an amazing transformation. And for people who, you might have a job right now and you're not really feeling it, or you've always wanted to do your own thing, this is such a beautiful way to be of service and really help people change their lives. It's so special. So that is it from me. The link for the sales page is bit.ly/GDM24. And if you have any questions, you can always DM me on Instagram, even though Audrey gets mad when I say that, or you can email my team at help@highvibehoney.com, and they will be happy to answer any questions that you have. So that's it from me. I really want you to drink lots of water today. Please drink lots of water. And I hope you sleep beautifully and wake up in the morning remembering that you're a fucking badass and that this change is the start of something fabulous. And I wish you all the best on your amazing adventure. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.